Dear friends, Ukrainians, Europeans, it's a historical day. It's a historical day not only for Ukraine, which really deserves to be part of European Union. It's a historical day also for European Union, because membership of Ukraine in European Union is very much needed also for European Union. Your leadership, your bravery, your courage is exactly what is very much, needed, what is very much inspiring us, all of us, and what brings real European values back to real life. So I will not add anything more. Really, dreams are becoming reality. Dreams are, sometimes they are demanding real fight for them to become reality. But I have one more dream. In 2027, when Lithuania will be in the presidency of EU second time, I have a dream, if I'm correct, on another side of this building, there are flags of European member states. So in 2027, I have a dream to have this nice Ukrainian flag now officially raised on those flags of all the member states. Slava Ukraini!
Dear Europeans, and I mean Ukrainians included, and I really mean it because we managed to prove that we have the same values, we have the same spirit, and we are welcome here. This institution is very special for us. It has been for years pushing for European perspective. Today it's also a symbolic day because you adopted resolution once again calling Ukraine to grant membership candidate status. And you were never shy to speak out, to push, and you made others to believe in Ukraine, to believe in Ukrainians, and to start really working on that. And 2027, it's not far away, but I think it is doable. It is doable if we have political will, both Ukraine and European Union, if we continue working together during those years ahead, if we keep this unity which we have today. Slava Ukraini! Now we continue with the Ukrainian effort, and we have great Ukrainian musician, Oleg Skripka, and his team with us today. Please welcome.
Запануем і ми, браття, у своїй стороні. of democracy and freedom of justice that are the same as our values that we share with them. The European Parliament was among the first to call for this decision to be taken, and we have been vigorously advocating with our Ukrainian partners for this decision, so I'm very pleased to see this historic step happen today. A few hours ago, we adopted a resolution within the European Parliament that was overwhelmingly voted in favour of opening the door to these three countries. As we said, we will not go back to a world before the 24th of February. We will only go forward into a Europe that values its geopolitical and security situation. So if there ever was a time for more Europe, this is the moment. This decision to grant Ukraine candidate status is the right one. It will strengthen Ukraine, it will strengthen Europe. It is a decision for freedom and democracy, and it puts us also on the right side of history. We also spoke about the speed with which the European Union has acted, the unity with which it has acted, and the resolve these past months. That resolve needs to be kept up, because with numerous pressures now mounting, this is when we must remain together. Of course, there are no easy solutions. It was these issues, in fact, about diminishing supplies and rising costs causing great social impacts that I discussed with the heads of state and government. The three concrete points that I also made on behalf of the European Parliament, first of all, in connection with the agenda, is that we cannot backslide on our climate goals. This is also against the backdrop of the decisions and votes that took place this week in the plenary on three backbones of the climate package, and therefore we must ensure that immediate short-term measures do not become the new normal in the medium term. We owe responses to our younger generations who are looking to us to provide the answers and also to provide solutions of an ever-present crisis. We also need to show resolve against war fatigue. This also was discussed. Push back against Russian disinformation. It is not the Green Deal that is pushing up inflation, or our sanctions that are behind a possible famine in the world. This falls squarely on the Kremlin and the aggression started by Russia. And also we need to keep up support for Ukraine and keep the pressure on Kremlin through sanctions, because we ultimately must not be the ones to blink first. I also made reference towards the end of my intervention, first of all, to the good work that was done with the French presidency from a legislative angle, and also following a visit of the Conference of Presidents to the Czech Republic last week. We also embarked on the new legislative commitments that we will have for the next 6 months with the Czech presidency. On the future of Europe, I also made reference to the very strong resolution and a mandate that I was given by the European Parliament in order to go to the natural next step, which is the convention, with the message, let's start the conversation. This is a conversation that we were asked by citizens to have. We worked on it for more than a year, with a process started by my predecessor, the then Portuguese presidency, and the president of the Commission, towards a big conclusion on the 9th of May with the French president and the president of the European Commission, and this time myself, and we owe it to our citizens to respond to that. The European Parliament stands firmly on this track, and this is one that we will keep up. Thanks a lot.
You first, yeah. And second, Laura, to be ready, please. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Can we have your comment to the decision, or rather the non-decisions that were taken today on the Western Balkans? And the Albanian Prime Minister was saying basically it's the process that is crooked, he said, because of the unanimity and so on. I don't know if you have any comments on that. Thanks.
I think there are still developments in this field that we can continue to hope for over the next hours. It was also quite a main focus of the conversation that we had with the prime ministers just now. But you are right, and I understand, first of all, the frustration and the feeling that a country makes 2, 3 steps, sometimes 15 steps forward, and then is kept behind or put in a package that is not fair. My position this morning during the summit was very clear, that we would like to see progress in terms of accession negotiations with North Macedonia. We continue to hope for a breakthrough on that, as well as Albania. I also mentioned the long-standing European Parliament position on granting visa liberalization to Kosovo. This is the only country in the region that is not yet in within that area. We also have a decision next month in July on the Bosnia and Herzegovina. The discussion has to take place. I think what we cannot afford today is that on this historic, we need to use the word historic, moment of granting Ukraine and Moldova candidate status, that it is also held in the shadow of non-movement with those countries that have been waiting for a very long time.
Laura, please.
Hi. So a question on the Convention to reform the treaties. After the resolution from the Parliament, there needs to be a qualified majority. I understand from your discussions with the leaders, are you confident that the qualified majority will be achieved?
Simple majority.
Okay, simple majority. So will it be achieved?
Not so simple.
Will it be achieved today, would you say? Or would you think?
I am somebody, I do not speculate on time frames. What I can tell you is that I do not feel, let's say, that there is outright opposition, if I can say that. And I say this with responsibility and with caution that comes with such a process, because at the end of the day, we have a very open call that is shared by the European Parliament, and Prime Ministers are also accountable to those members who are elected by their citizens to a call that was made for that conversation to happen. If we see the Eurobarometer results from yesterday or from today, where everywhere across the European Union there is a belief in more Europe, that they look to the European Union as having made a tangible impact on their lives and as having provided solutions, first during the pandemic and now in the debates that we are having on security, on energy union, on the debates we have to have on migration. I think it is time to have that conversation, and we have the momentum. So while I would not, let's say, expect any concrete majorities to form today, I can continue to work on an ever-growing number of states that come together and say, yes, let's have that conversation. I think we are ready for it.
Yes, please.
Hello, Leolik de Voet for Context. My question relates to the discussion that will happen tonight on the European political community, I believe. The discussion has not taken place yet between the member states. I don't think it has taken place in the European Parliament yet. How do you foresee this discussion? What do you think your position will be as the President of the European Parliament? Should the European Parliament push in favor of that or not? Do you think that some tangible results will emerge from those discussions, or will that be just the first discussion and then push back later to another summit? Thank you.
Well, I think this is a discussion that is not new. It is one that has always, let's say, come either during enlargement processes or in between. Where are countries? Because at the end of the day, every country has its own path. Every country has its own realities. Some countries move faster than others. I remember this was the case when my country, together with 9 others, worked towards, for a very long time, for some from a decade to a few years, to enter the European Union. What do you do in the meantime? Let's not underestimate the potential of candidate status. What the transformative or transformational impact that has on a country, its citizens, its young people who look to Europe for hope. And that has to be the core message from today. that message of hope that we have and we give with our Ukrainian brothers and sisters who are fighting our war, a war in Europe. And rather than talk about categories of closeness or otherwise, this is not a discussion that we had yet in the European Parliament, but we would plead first of all for coherence, for unity, and for moving together. And that when a country achieves the legal and technical steps to go to the next step, whether it is Schengen accession, whether it is accession to the Eurozone, or accession to the European Union, I think we need to be, as a union, ready to not hide behind political excuses for that move not to happen. As I said, these processes are always difficult, but today is really historic and we should focus on that.
One last question, a very short question, please. Yes, there. And the microphone, please.
Thank you so much. A question about the candidate status for a Republic of Moldova. Should Moldova begin the mechanism of the exit mechanism from the Russian-controlled Commonwealth of Independent States, and maybe should Moldova had already done it regarding the European future?
Well, I think the avis of the Commission lays down quite clearly what is needed to be done, what is needed to be achieved by all the countries that are being discussed in the European Council today. I think we can also look at the fact that in Moldova we have a very pro-European, pro-democracy government that is doing everything to make sure that they can join our family. So all questions will be asked. All steps need to be taken, but make no mistake, today is also a decision that we take in with respect to Moldova that I would not have imagined possible 4 months ago. And I very much welcome and I thank the leadership of the country in bringing all their efforts to allowing for this historic step to be taken today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.